Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for day 3 of the LA Sevens. And this game playing off for 11th place, South Africa versus Canada. Now, that may not be something that we expected to say at the start of this competition. The South Africans, of course, have a brilliant side. They just don't seem like they've quite gelled, though, throughout this competition. And it was a little bit the same for the Vancouver Sevens as well. But looking through at the starting lineup, it will be Darren Adonis, Ryan Oosthuizen, Sean Williams, Kat Belly, Zane Davids, Roscoe Speckman, and Justin Herdold, the last man in the starting side. Then for the Canadians, it is Jack Carson, Thomas Isherwood, Josiah Mora, Liam Bowman, Kalen Sager, Elias Hancock, and also Cody Nahanala. Hopefully I've said that correctly there, but this Canadian side, they've caused upsets in the past. They were almost able to take out a win in the group stage, I believe it was, for the Canadians up against top opposition. So it is interesting to see that they are finishing once again at the bottom of the bunch. In fact, no, it wasn't this one. It was actually the last competition that they did a lot better. But let's see whether or not away from home the Canadians can get the job done up against the Blitzboks. But it is very early here in New Zealand, so my brain will hopefully slowly wake up as the day progresses. We have got quite a few Sevens streams taking place today, including the next game that is between Samoa and New Zealand. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. But it will be the Canadians kicking this one off from left to right. Now, they have opted to go without Thomas Isherwood in their starting side. No, in fact, he is there. Having a shocker. But we're ready to go for the Canadians. And hey everyone, Cape Town dark now. And that's the thing, for the Blitzboks, they want to finish on a high. We know they come in as heavy favourites. So I think they should be able to get the job done, but you just never know with this dark horse and the Canadians. Herdold takes it nicely for South Africa. Now just on their own 22-metre line. Pass back across to Roscoe Speckman, showing us some of those quick steps that he has. Although average still going strong. Kiwi Lads rocked. So here's Ruth and Canada 10, South Africa 25. Do you know the women's final at the moment? It is Canada versus New Zealand and USA versus Australia for the two women's semi-finals. So not quite confirmed yet who will be going one-on-one, but nice bursting run down the middle of the field for Lete Belly. Sean Williams now going off to the left-hand side. Herdold goes to Adonis, inside ball to David, who bumps off Isherwood. And that'll be the first try of the contest, going the way of the South Africans. And that will make them, well, it will make them happy. But at the same time, I feel like winning a game for 11th place by a large margin just frustrates a side more than if it was close. Because if you win it by 11 or win it by a larger margin, you just feel like you had stuff left in the tank that you didn't use throughout your other contests. And don't know, but it might be closer, even surprise score. Says Roof, although at this stage, the Canadians, of course, going to have to fight back from behind if they do want to try and get themselves the victory here. But 5.5 minutes remaining in this first half. Some deep press being taken by Zane Davids, but the South Africans on the board first, leading this game at 7 points to 0. And of course, the next leg of the Sevens is actually in 1 month's time. They got plenty of time to reassess, reassemble, come back stronger than they have been Vancouver and USA. And Blitzboks should take this easy, but you can't predict rugby. Says Ruth, yeah, I think the perfect example of that is actually the quarterfinals. The fact that we saw a lot of favourites losing. We saw Fiji lose. We saw Argentina lose. We saw Australia lose. And we're also seeing New Zealand versus Samoa as a 9th place playoff game just around the corner. That ball is well stripped. Oh, that's a tackle, though, from Adonis. The penalty is going to be in favour of the Canadians. Oh. Ball was thrown away by Kat Belly here. Yeah, throwing the ball away. The Canadian was trying to kind of convince the referee that it did happen. You'll hear the voice sounded a little bit rough today. We've done quite a few streams over the weekend, but Kat Belly, just a little mistake that South Africa couldn't really afford to make there, as it will now give the Canadians a bit more ground and also will give them the opportunity to play up against 6 men. And all these other teams have caught up. Says Naz Williams. Also Morena Peeps. I hope all is well, says Naz Williams. Yeah, hopefully you are doing very well. I hope you're excited for some of these games. And Morena Hamish, good to see you, bro. Says Natikahu, welcome in. Of course, New Zealand playing just around the corner up against these Samoans that will be kicking off in only 15 or so minutes time. Now offloaded back. Big shot coming in the midfield. Looks like there might be some sort of injury here for one of the Canadian players. So it is actually 6-on-6 currently. The penalty will go the way of South Africa. Carson is not looking too flash. I feel that was a fantastic cliffhanger between the Reds and the Hurricanes. Yeah, going to golden point for the first time of the Super Rugby Pacific competition. The rest are these big teams losing. Good for World Rugby, says Natikahu. Yeah, it certainly adds a few new chances in the mix, like whether it's going to be Spain making it even further than they've already made it, which is a record for them. They've never been to a semi-final in the Rugby Sevens, and the fact that they beat Fiji to get there is just next level. For the Spanish, we saw Argentina's winning streak come to a close at the hands of the Irish, so now they are going to be taking on the French, which has Antoine Dupont, and they are chasing a title. They haven't had too many at all throughout the most recent times for the French. And then the other side in there is Great Britain, a side that I believe coming into this round we're sitting at about second last or last. Oh, they're just showing it here. It was knee on knee, which is never fun for either of the men receiving the knock, but unfortunately it was the more heavily strapped knee of Carson, and looks like it was quite the knock. Doesn't look too happy at the moment. He is going to be making his way from the field. Just having a chat with the medic there, but they are now ready to go. South Africa have got themselves the ball in hand. And Canada do have some tough players. They're not too bad. So as ref, yeah, they've got a decent side, Canada, and they have the ability to cause upsets. We've seen that in the past few leagues. Still remember when they beat New Zealand after almost beating them the time prior. Roscoe Speckman almost able to pierce the line there for the Blitzboks. Now Darren Adonis goes back across to Geduld. Short ball to Ryan Oosthuizen. Good shot put in him. Sean Williams back to Speckman. Zane Davids, he's already scored one try. Wasn't quite able to get a second. Geduld now with the fend inside. Ball Oosthuizen. And the South Africans will score again for another try. It'll be his third of the Sevens circuit this year, but only his first in LA. Hasn't actually scored a try up until this point, but then saying that, South Africa haven't scored a huge amount of tries throughout this campaign. And Canada do have some tough... Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? Ryan Oosthuizen pierces the gap beautifully. They are now 2 tries ahead. Like they've said, they had the man in the bin, and they are still the side getting those points on the board. Geduld able to make it the full 7. Score now 14-0 in favour of South Africa. And there we go, the Blitzboks not wasting any time, says Roof. I believe that Letterbelly is still not quite back on the field. Oh, time off. They're actually allowed to bring him back on. That is handy enough for the Blitzboks. Are there any more games after this, says Jack? So the next game is New Zealand versus Samoa. That is kicking off in 14 minutes' time. And then after that one, I think the next match that we're doing is almost the semi-final, which will be at about 11:08, I believe it is, between France and Ireland. So there's about an hour and a half break, somewhere around there, in between the games that we are covering. But as soon as it is back, of course, we have got few more. We've got another 5 after this one, plus any playoff games of the final and third place and whatnot that we do decide to do as well. But now, left-hand side, cut out pass, Canada knocking it on out wide though. So those are little mistakes. This time it was from Josiah Mora. It's not quite getting it right at the moment for Canada. And Canada have been steadily building since Sevens into the Commonwealth Games. I wonder if Canada will get a chance to score in this one. I think they will. I think that, yes, they aren't in a great position here because there could be 3 tries down going into half-time, but I still think we'll see a little bit of Canadian fight in the second half, although it does concern me the fact that they lost 40 points to nil to Fiji earlier on in the competition, because that does mean, one, that they are struggling for form, but also alongside that, it just means that they do have a tendency of, if they are losing badly, that they will lose really badly. How's DuPont settled into sevens? Not seen any sevens this year. His first competition was a little bit, like, it wasn't that he played badly at all. Like, he played quite well. He just didn't set the world on fire. He's playing a lot better now that he's getting starting minutes for the French, because he had to try and work his way past Steven Perez-Martin, who was having an absolutely phenomenal tournament in Vancouver. Isherwood passes on the outside, another knock on from the Canadians. Unfortunately, every pass at the moment is just going slightly wrong. Look there, Hamish, what's the next game? It is Samoa versus USA. There are two Canadian players down next to each other here. One of them's holding their groin, the other one's holding their head. Now, you know, I don't want to be a detective, but sounds like a bad combination. Any Tyler, Nathan Wong, Williams today, they are going to be going head to... Oh, he's been headbutted in the balls by his teammate, I think. Or he's crunched the neck. His butt was in the air, and his teammate's head has entered between his cheeks like it's the human centipede. And unfortunately, he's hurt his head on the guy's, you know, your tailbone. That's what he's hit his head on. The other guy, he had a bit of a breather because he got a shot right to the testes. And when are you taking a break, Hamish? It feels like you've been on a live stream for 4 days now, says Grant. I think I get a break after today for a bit. Next weekend, I'll be honest, it's going to be a little bit tricky because we are also going to the Black Cats versus Australia match. I'm looking forward to that second test. Hopefully New Zealand have a bit of fight in them for that one. But yeah, these last 2 weekends, I'll be honest, have been brutal. This weekend, though, because I accidentally slept through the alarm, or my alarm didn't go off, it meant that I got a little bit of sleep. Last weekend, though, I was up for 64 hours with 6 hours of napping. This weekend, we probably squeezed 12 hours across 2 or 3 nights. That's decent for a weekend. Now, Isherwood goes back to the right-hand side. A big fend coming in from Josiah Mora. And taking your G-Bro for some footage to the test. Not sure about GoPro. They might get a little bit weird about it, but I might try and get a couple little clips on my phone or something. Don't know whether we'll make a video from it, because I think that, once again, they are a little bit, persistent in terms of making sure people don't film anything or film a lot while they're there in terms of vlog type footage, but we'll see what we can do. I feel like it's going to be also one of those ones that I'll have to consider it as a bit of a break as well, and just try and use that as my holidays, because with the weeks that we've got coming up, there's a lot more rugby, there's a lot more cricket that we are going to be covering. Josiah Mora now going off to the left-hand side. Brasilier thought about the offload on the inside. Now, Canada, as bad as they have been in this first half, in terms of possession and also their handling, they're only down by 14. And if they can score now on the halfway line, that was an early penalty given to South Africa. I don't actually think Sean Williams got his hands on the ball there. The referee does give the penalty in favour of the Blitzboks, who are actually currently playing with 6 as Rhino stays and has stayed down a little bit. Another drop ball, it's gone backwards. Adonis is lined up early. Ball stolen in the breakdown. Penalty once again going the way of South Africa. And fair call, man, says Naz Williams. Oh, Grant, if you're still here, which I don't know whether you are, guess who we saw yesterday? We saw Rugby Geeks. Old Dickie himself was back. That sounds like I'm calling him a name, but that's his nickname, I should mention. Now Sean Williams going, that's a late shot. It was really late. Now Zane Davids goes across to Sean Williams. Another advantage. The moment Canada, their discipline is going to cost them another try right at the end of this first half. Taking a lot of deep breaths. Now the scrum is going to be the call from only 22 metres out from Canada's line. This game is running slightly longer than first anticipated. I will quickly go like this and like this. I'll just have to quickly change the time of that next live stream, I think. I know we should almost be all right. 9:10 when it is going to be starting. We're running 2 minutes overtime at the moment between these two teams. All now fed in by Sean Williams. South Africa looking off to the right-hand side. Sold the dummy. Esherwood manages to drag him down. It's a knock-on from Adonis. And tell you what, if South Africa were as clinical as they normally are, they would have had 4 or 5 tries in that first half. 14 points to 0. The Canadians yet to get a point on the board, but they won't actually feel like that half was as bad as it could have been. So I guess that might give them some sort of confidence going into their next contest, which is, of course, just around the corner, or their next half, I should say. Next leg of the Sevens is going to be in Hong Kong. I'm still here. Good to know Dickie's still around, says Grant. Yeah, he said he's been busy with fatherhood. We also agreed that you guys can talk consistently for a long period of time in that Discord. He said that he can't even keep up, and I was like, yeah, that feels about the same. But, yeah. The Discord is the secret place to be, I'd say. Only half-time in this contest, though. 14 points to 0. Favour of the South Africans. Of course, the next game taking place is going to be between New Zealand and Samoa. Anyone who is new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I think that for Canada, I mean, one thing's for certain, they have to be the first team to score in this second half. If they want any chance, there's been a David's try. There's also been a Ryan Oosthuizen try, so the two bigger men for the South Africans getting over the line. They've still got James Murphy to come off the bench. Of course, he would classify as one of the big man members of this Blitzboks team. The Canadians, they've been flat, but once again, they're still in the contest. And that's all they can ask for. See a couple Irish supporters singing along in the stands. And this is, once again, in fact, I would make the statement, this is the best chance for all 4 of these semi-finalists to take out a Sevens title, because most of the big sides are gone. Argentina, who are on the winning streak, they are gone. South Africa are gone as well. New Zealand gone. Samoa gone. A lot of great sides have missed out. Second half of this one just around the corner now. The random kid who's waving his shirt around. Today's Discord chat is wild, or was wild, says Grant. So I haven't seen it yet, but I assume it was, if it's the level that we normally see, the fact that you're calling it wild means it's probably about here on the overall Discord sale. It's kicked off beautifully, taken by Esherwood. They went for a bit of a risk there, South Africa, and it hasn't paid off. There's a knock-on, though. There's a knock-on. Referee says play on. Did he not knock that on? I thought it was a clear knock-on. Hi, everyone. Says Mikhail, welcome in, mate. Now going away to the right-hand side. That is a clear knock-on. Out wide, Sager not able to hang on to that one. He's disappointed about it as well, the Canadian winger. Had a good chance being able to get back into this contest. Definitely off that kickoff. And which team will win this match? South Africa are heavy favourites, but they have to make sure they score their next opportunity, or else there is a chance that we could see the Canadians start to try and mount a comeback. But more than likely South Africa in this contest. I've actually dozed off. I'm feeling sleepy, keeping an eye on Hamish. Says Ruth. Oh, yeah, it is an evening game for you guys in South Africa, of course, sitting around 10:06, I believe. Or is it the other way around? Is it 8:06? A ball is fed in. Going to the right-hand side now. Selvin Davids looping round past there from Schutten Van Wyk. Gedal passes on the outside to Roscoe Speckman. Where is this match being held? It is at LA Place, which is in Los Angeles, California, USA. And Canada very slow off the mark. Can't leave it too late to get the points on the board. Says Ruth. Now passed out wide. Good hold. Goes on the inside to Roscoe Speckman. Finds another offload to Gedal again. They just can't quite get through this Canadian defence until Zane Davids bulldozes towards the line. And it's another try for the South Africans, now their third of the contest. And that is his third of LA as well for Zane Davids. Just got that mentality of, I'm going to run over the top of you. And normally is extremely effective. Zane Davids just stepping around two of the Canadian defenders. Crosses the try line again. That's his second of the match. And the kick is good from the Blitzboks, so they will now sit 21 points to 0 up. Only 5 minutes to go. We see Zane Davids now making his way from the field. Blitzboks, tears the roof there. The handshake from the coach. Looks like Tristan Lades isn't too far from making his way onto the field either. Oh, time is off. Here comes Tristan Lades. Gonna make his way onto the field for Gerald. I heard that South Africa has won the Rugby World Cup. Is it true? Do you know that jokers are ingrained in cricket? Says Sudeep, South Africa have won the most World Cups out of any rugby union side. They've got 4. I was just doing the maths in my head. And they also won back-to-back Rugby World Cups just recently. They also won the Rugby Sevens World Cup. So they've got a lot in their favour, South Africa, that is for sure. They're just going like a bomb, fireworks, and 4. Says Mikhail, it's going to be passed on the outside. Foot race now. Looks like he might just win it. Chance, and he scores the try. Sullivan Davids tried to stop him, but sadly, just a little bit too much power out there on the wing. Bowman thinks he scored it, the debutant. First series, they're just checking. Yep, that is completely fine. And when is the next Sevens Rugby World Cup? I think it's in a couple years' time. I'll just have a quick look. I'm not actually sure what year it will be taking place. I think it's 2026. Rugby Sevens World Cup. Yeah, it looks like 2026. Somewhere around there. Yeah, the Rugby World Cup Sevens was in 2022 in September, so I think September 2026. So a couple years' time. But the Olympics, of course, coming just around the corner. And that is going to be one that will be extremely intriguing. Is it raining in India? Or it is raining in India right now. Is it raining where I live? Wait, is it raining where you live or where I live? Where I live, the sun is out. But where you live, if you also live near that rain in India, then I'd assume yes. And come on, Canada, make a game of it. Nice run from Benjamin Brits there. And nice thanks, Aaron, says Mikhail. And which team are you supporting to make the finals? I think that it will be probably Great Britain and France. I would love to see Spain make it to the final just because this is their best ever opportunity to finish the highest that they ever have. Like, they already are higher than they've ever been. Kick forward from Tristan Lades off the grubber, and it's going to work out for him. It could have been an ugly bounce of the ball, but instead sits right back towards him. And has the Irish match been on yet? It is not. No, they are still around about 2 hours away. They're going to be starting at around 11:05 a.m. New Zealand time. We'll be, of course, covering that one on the channel. Yes, that would be great, says Mikhail. And yeah, it would just be a massive achievement for them to be able to make it further than they ever have. It is raining in India right now, meaning where I live, says Sudeep. Okay, so you meant where I am. I mean what happened at your place in the morning, says Sudeep. So yeah, no, we haven't got any rain here. Sun is out. It's actually a relatively nice looking day, which is quite a nice change. And whoop, Savage, Canada on the board must be my good luck thoughts, says Ruth. And also go the Blitzboks, says Anadro. 28 points to 5 now. South Africa are extending their lead. Still 90 seconds remaining. And of course, like I mentioned, the next game that is taking place, it will be the matchup between New Zealand and Samoa. Now, all of these games, of course, if there are any draws, we do go to golden point time, which is one of the big differences compared to last year in the Sevens circuit, where if it was a draw during the group stages, it would just be a draw. Now, there has to be a winner for those 3 points. They are playing off for an extra point on the Sevens circuit here. The winner will get 2, the loser will get 1, and that is going to be the penalty to Canada for the man not rolling away in the breakdown. That was against David Britz. Now going to the short side, Thomas Isherwood. He's going to be through, although Selvin Davids trying to tackle him. It's almost identical to what we saw for the last try from Bowman. They're going to have to go upstairs and check this one as well. I'm fading past here, had 2 cups of coffee, but eyelids are closing. Says Ruth, well, the good news for you, Ruth, is the last... Yep, he scored that one too for the Canadians. No matter how much Selvin Davids tries to put them into touch, just doesn't seem like it is quite working out. And there is a time and a place for poetry. Says cool story, bro. And also, is this knockout? It is the playoff game, so they are playing off for 11th in this contest, which is a lot lower than both of these sides would have liked to be playing off for. We see New Zealand versus Samoa taking place soon. That is actually a 9th place playoff game. Argentina versus Fiji is playing off for 5th. So there's a lot of good sides that have missed out on big opportunities here in the USA. It's been a tournament of upsets. Definitely in the quarterfinals. Now 7 seconds remaining on the clock. Canada, they will be kicking this one off. If South Africa get the ball, they will be putting it into touch. It's actually kicked out on the full. So another opportunity for South Africa from the halfway line. Sylvan Davids just walking it up to the halfway line. What do they decide to do here, the South Africans? What is Ireland versus France? So that is a semi-final. Quick tap taken by Sylvan Davids. Going back across to the left-hand side. Flat pass, knock on. And that'll be the end of the contest. Or will it? The advantage was in favour of the Canadians. So now we will play on. Ball's still there. Canada trying to mount a late comeback. They will not be able to win this game, but they can make it a reasonable score. Pass on the outside from Sager. Still available for the Canadians on the halfway line. Who do you think will be the overall winner of this series? I think that France or Ireland, the winner of that game, will have a very good chance of winning the whole thing. But it's a bit hard to tell because I know France come in as favourites, but in playoff games, normally they do get themselves knocked out of the competition. So Ireland might have that little bit of an advantage after recently beating beating the Argentines. That would give a team a lot of confidence. This game's still going though. Isherwood passes on the outside. Neither of these teams want their LA Sevens to be over. Now nice run forward from Josiah Moore again. Inside ball. Sager moves to only 10 metres out from the line. Finds the offload again. Another one for the Canadians. They just needed one more. Argentina looks great too, says Ruth. And yeah, I'm curious to see how they answer back from their first loss in a long time. But that is going to be the last minute try for the Canadians. Noah Fletch has been able to go over. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back for the New Zealand versus Samoa game that is kicking off right now. So I will see you all for the next one.